Dear students, welcome to the orientation module that covers the Master of Social Work Program Handbook for 2014. The purpose of the handbook is to provide the ultimate source of information for the most important issues that will determine your graduation from the program. It serves as a source of authoritative information regarding policies and procedures. It serves as your guide. It's the place to turn to when you receive conflicting information, and it also provides support when used to connect your interest with available resources through the university. It is your responsibility to read the handbook in its entirety. It covers many topics, starting with the background and context of the university and the School of Social Work. It goes on to cover the program's goals and objectives and all the different areas involved in the curriculum beyond the classes, to include your field placement, graduate certificates, issues related to grading, and graduation requirements. It also addresses advisement, which includes regular advisement and special advisement, which oftentimes occurs when issues associated with academic problems or other issues that may eventually lead to hearing procedures or dismissals, and then the dismissal appeal process. Beyond that, it also addresses the vast array of student services available to students both through the university and through the School of Social Work, whether you're on campus, off campus, or online. It covers aspects of financial aid, code of conduct, what you need to do to register each semester, all the plans of study available to you, all the forms that are necessary, and it concludes with the most important aspect of your education, which will include the generalist and concentration practice competencies. While students are responsible for reading the entire handbook, this presentation does not have the time to cover all the handbook in detail. However, the following topics deserve your special attention as you read the handbook. Those topics will include how the reason and that goes into choosing a concentration, how that choice of a concentration affects your field instruction, issues related to grading, special advising, code of conduct, plans of study, and competencies. So to begin, choosing a concentration. The MSW program offers two: advanced clinical and policy planning and administration. Advanced clinical, as much as the name sounds, it involves a direct practice of social work in clinical or direct practice settings involving individuals, families, and small groups, whether it be in a health setting, mental health, the family and children's services, or senior citizens agencies. Policy planning and administration addresses the meso and macro aspects of social work that looks at change at the organizational or interagency or community level, up to policy practice that directly involves social and economic justice, not only for the consumers of social and human services, but also to empower practitioners within those agencies. It's important when choosing a concentration because your concentration choice determines what type of field placement you will have available to you. That is, if you choose clinical practice, then you will have a clinical placement. If you choose PP&A, policy planning and administration, then you will have a management type placement. Speaking of placement, field instruction is a significant aspect of graduate education. Advanced standing students are required to complete only Social Work 8971, which involves 680 clock hours of field placement, and that works out to about 40 hours a week for 12 weeks. Entry into Social Work 8971, which typically occurs in the last semester of the program, requires a 3.0 minimum GPA and successful completion of all previous MSW coursework. These field placement assignments are the product of a collaborative decision of the director of field, your advisor, you, and in some cases, the MSW program director. Oftentimes, students ask if they can have their placement in the agency in which they are employed, and that is indeed possible. The employing agency must consent to new learning or new duties for you during the period of the course, as well as meeting the regular course conditions. The Director of Field Education is responsible for negotiating and directly monitoring these arrangements. This is discussed in further detail in the Field Instruction Handbook that must be read before entry into any field placement. There are policies and procedures to be followed while in the placement which are vital for their successful completion. Failure to adhere to these requirements can delay entry into field placements or the failure to graduate from your field placement. Speaking of graduating, grading is a significant aspect of that. Students must maintain a 3.0 GPA throughout their graduate work to remain in good standing in the graduate school and to graduate. Therefore, if you make a C in one course, you need to make sure you make an A in another course so your average stays at 3.0 or above. However, a student who receives a C grade in any foundation MSW course or a course as part of a sequence, such as human behavior, diversity, practice, research, or policy, must repeat the course and achieve at least a B grade prior to taking any further coursework in that sequence in the MSW program. This could result in delaying a student's graduation by at least 1 year, as not all courses are offered every semester. Sometimes a grade of I or incomplete is given for a course when unusual circumstances occur and at the discretion of the instructor. Unusual circumstances can also include special circumstances such as the birth of a child, loss of employment, or any other significant life event. Unusual circumstances, however, do not include being late on a paper or doing poorly on a test. In all circumstances, contact your instructor as soon as possible and let them know what is going on. Sometimes low grades may result in academic probation. However, low grades may also be associated with life events that may necessitate course withdrawal, leave of absence, or withdrawal from the university. Please know these events sometimes happen because of circumstances beyond our control. Whatever the reason, let your instructors and advisor know what is going on so we can provide appropriate support in planning. That support in planning typically occurs through special advisement. This is a procedure designed to provide extended advisory resources in the interest of enhancing the student's learning opportunities and or changing the student's program or plan of study. Special advisement is advisory to the student and his or her faculty advisor and will not relate to administrative decisions about student status. Special advisement is one of several possible resources of choice available to the advisor and student to supplement or reinforce the regular services of the advisor. Special advisement should be considered by the advisor and the student along with other available advisory supplements. An attempt to resolve the academic difficulties through special advisement must occur before a student status review on academic grade performance can be called. Other issues that may involve special advisement would include any violations of the Code of Conduct. The School of Social Work strictly adheres to the university's policy on academic dishonesty. Students should become very familiar with this policy, and if they have any questions about it, should address them to their advisor. Failure to comply with the policy can lead to suspension and possibly expulsion from the university. The policy is as follows. Academic honesty, such as cheating and plagiarism, as discussed in your other orientation modules, is a basis for disciplinary action. In all cases of academic dishonesty, the faculty member makes an academic judgment about the student's grade on that work and in that course, and reports all incidents to the provost for disciplinary action. In addition, the school supports fully the Code of Ethics of the National Association of Social Workers, and it is expected that all full and part-time students and faculty abide by its provisions. Please see the following website to review the Code of Ethics. We do all these things in support of your ability and objective of executing your plan of study in order to achieve your degree. Therefore, there are several plans of study available to students. These involve advanced standing if you have an undergraduate MSW degree, and that can be either full-time or part-time, or regular standing if you do not have a MSW degree, and those plans of study can either be full-time or part-time. While it is possible to change a plan of study, it rarely occurs and is not advised as it usually delays graduation. However, due to life events or other circumstances, it is certainly possible to do so. If you have any questions, please consult your advisor. As many of you know, having already worked in a human services agency, all of the preceding policies and procedures are necessary to address in order to provide the context and structure for the most important aspect of pursuing a graduate degree, acquiring graduate level professional social work practice skills. We do that by hoping that students achieve the competencies to be a master's level professional social worker. Stated otherwise, what skills will I have acquired once I have obtained my degree? The competencies you will acquire fall into 10 broad areas, and under each of these areas are dozens of practice behaviors that can be acquired in each of your courses. Broadly speaking, they cover identifying as a professional social worker and conducting oneself accordingly, being able to apply social work ethical principles to guide professional judgment and practice, applying critical thinking to inform and communicate professional judgments, engaging diversity and difference in practice, being able to advance human rights and social and economic justice, engaging in research-informed practice and practice-informed research, being able to apply knowledge of human behavior and the social environment, engaging in policy practice to advance social and economic well-being and to deliver effective social work services, responding to the contexts that shape practice, and being able to engage, assess, intervene, and evaluate with individuals, families, groups, organizations, and communities. In conclusion, while the handbook provides the definitive source of information for all matters that pertain to your matriculation through the program, we fully expect students to raise questions about the implications and/or the specific steps associated with certain topics. As such, please make use of your advisor and instructors when you have questions. Our goal is for you to succeed, and working together, we can make that happen. So as we conclude the PowerPoint, I want to show you the website where the handbook can be found. This is the School of Social Work homepage. And clicking on Academics and going to the MSW program, scrolling down the list, you will see MSW Program Handbooks. You will want to look for the most recent handbook, which will apply to the years for which you are in the program. The other documents referenced in the orientation included the field education documents and forms, and all those can be found under the Field Education tab and Student Documents. Here you will want to look at the forms associated with your concentration. So if you're a clinical student, you will want to review all of these forms. And if you are a PPNA student, Policy Planning and Administration, you will want to review all of these forms. That concludes this orientation module. And if you have any questions, please feel free to either contact the director of the online program and or the MSW program director with those questions. Thank you.